So I'm here to talk about 180 Flinders Street today. So going back in time a little bit to where it all began. So Dexus, our client, came to us with this incredible inner city site right at the sort of the corner of some of the most iconic Melbourne landmarks. So you've got St Paul's directly to the west, Forum directly to the east, Fed Square across the road. They came to us with this site, criminally underused inner city site, which was largely about 1,100 car parks. There was about 12 metres of office space in the front, which was fronted by a heritage façade, which had been dramatically altered over the years. A giant corkscrew car park, and then a sort of an older 80s office building facing onto Flinders Lane. So we went back in time and sort of tried to understand the context and the history. So this is our site sort of highlighted here. So it consisted of the Commercial Travellers Association here, the Ball and Welch building here, which is one of Melbourne's first department stores, and actually the Chelsea Theatre, which is now obviously demolished before you get to the apartments and then the Forum Theatre. So with Lovell Chen, they did a lot of research, a lot of digging to find all this information for us, and found some of these wonderful historical images. And they found a lot about the original design of the facade, which is amazing. So this is what it looked like back in 1902, roughly. And over the years, it was added onto until we got it around about 12 years ago. So what they'd actually done is they'd added a couple of levels onto the top and destroyed that beautiful parapet. They'd almost faithfully added on 2 extra bays to this heritage facade here, this little postmodern number in there. So again, we wanted to sort of, with Lovell Chen, take it back to its original history and reinstate a little bit of what it used to be. So what we actually did is we removed all of this facade, and the client was so excited about it that actually put it up on the hoarding. It's a little bit of a teaser of what's to come. So again, back to the site. So what we actually did is, we did a lot of studies on the site. We found that where the car park was, it wasn't really useful to demolish that too far down and put office space because of all the neighbouring buildings. There wasn't a lot of that natural light. So what we actually did is we actually utilised the existing structural grid of the car park and maxed it out to about 100% of its capacity. And those are the couple of extra floors that were added onto the heritage building. We demolished it from the front, and we actually extended those back across the car park and added a couple of extra levels. So here's just a quick section. There's Flinders Street here. This was our heritage building, and you can see where the parapet used to be. We brought that down, cut that back, and extended this office building all the way across. And this little cross section through here. So one of the things we were also trying to do was get as much natural light into the floor plate. Ended up being quite large floor plates. So what we managed to do is align this atrium with this laneway next to the Adelphi Hotel, which allowed us to get heaps of northern natural light into the depths of the floor plate. And you can see here, this was the heritage portion that we retained, portions that we added, that actually connected into this existing Flinders Lane building. We did look at demolishing it at one point, but instead, because all the levels matched, we just refurbished it and connected it into all the floor plates. And this is it in its axonometric form. So we had a lot of setbacks. We took advantage of all of those setbacks to put as much sort of outdoor amenity, greening as we could. We wrapped up all of the plant in these louvered boxes to try and keep it as neat as possible with the rest of the city looking down on it. And we also had lots of interfaces to contend with. So we had our Flinders Lane entry. We had the laneway that is down beside the Adelphi. And we had this interconnecting laneway route off Hosier Lane, so Rutledge Lane extensions. And we had the main Flinders Street frontage. So again, this is just the extent of the heritage facade. The heritage office building, which we retained around about 12 metres, so it was ideal for natural light penetration. We kept the existing car park operational through the entire construction, which turned out to be okay because most of that was during COVID. And this is what a typical floor plate looked like. So again, the atrium, which allowed natural light penetration into the floor plate, a traditional cruciform core. We actually kept some existing lifts from the original design, added onto the core, and a lot of these stair cores we also brought up into the floor plates. It's quite a unique offering in the CBD. A lot of these campus-style large footprint floor plates like this don't exist in the city. They're mostly common in docklands and new builds. So it's quite an easy project for Dexus to find tenants for. Jumping all the way down into the basement. So again, this is all the existing basement. Took out a lot of cars, so we reduced it from about 1,100 cars to about 800. We'd love to have done more, but there were commercial considerations. But we did replace a lot of car parks with fantastic end of trip and cycle facilities. And we ended up around about we ended up at 5 stars to 5 green star. So now about the facade, which is much more interesting. So we did a lot of studies. We understood there was a really fine, beautiful grain that came out of the heritage facade. We looked at the history, so the idea of the department store, so the dresses, the haberdashery, the drapery, everything that was sort of on offer back in the day. We came up with a language of this kind of stitching and this idea of fabric that we permeated through the entire building. So everything from playing off the Flinders Street existing facade, we looked at it, incorporating into the car park laneway screens, the atrium, and some of the articulation on the upper new addition. There's a little study of Flinders Street. So one of the most interesting things that we did with this new portion to try and make it contemporary yet complementary to the heritage facade. We didn't want it to pretend like it was a faux heritage facade, as this previous iteration had done so poorly. So we picked up on some of the colours and some of the datums of the existing parapets. And you can see here some of the glasswork and the fins that actually picked up on some of that detail. And what was great about this is it was quite glassy when viewed front on, but as you sort of moved around, it started to solidify. Quite glassy when you look at it. And then also they're trying to create this beautiful, yet recessive and respectful new addition to the top. So faceting it, adding this fine set of fins that would capture the light. Some of the laneways, looking into the lobby. Again, the idea of using beautiful travertine to mimic fabric. Some of the ceiling details. Car park screen, which I'll rush through. But again, it's beautiful perforated mesh that hit the car park. And the atrium, which again, full of greenery, full of natural light, light into those floor plates. And finally, just reconnecting back to the heritage. So we found this amazing 1903 brochure from the Ball and Welch store. So we looked at using that, created all of these artworks within the building. They became the artworks in the lift. The graphic designer cut them up, spliced them, reinterpreted them, and they ended up being these ghostly artifacts.